I just wanted to take a few minutes and talk to you guys today about the weight loss that I've experienced. Originally, when my daughter was born, I weighed 297 pounds. Steve Weiner, you'll remember this, 300 or bust. Well, the experiment didn't quite work out because I didn't get to the 300, and I was going to, but I gotta tell you, man, it was just so unhealthy. I did not feel well at all. I think my resting heart rate at that point was like 82 or 83, which for me is real high, real unhealthy, no bueno. Now, granted, I could do a lot of different things in terms of strength feats and stuff like that, but it's not worth the overall wellness. Now let's back up. When I came out of professional basketball, I probably weighed anywhere between 212 pounds and 218 pounds. Very lean, very fit, but still had a couple extra pounds just because, I was eating some gourmet food, I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, so what I did when I came back to the States is I started bouncing and going back to graduate school, and obviously when you're a bouncer, you're throwing people around, and you got people trying to scrap with you all the time, you gotta get your game up, you gotta get your weight up. So, got my game up, got my weight up, and the rest is kind of history because years went on. 1 year bouncing, 2 year bouncing, 3 year bouncing, 4 year bouncing, 5 years bouncing. Then all of a sudden, 218 pounds is like 270, 280 pounds. Good weight, but just more weight. Unnecessary weight for wellness. Necessary weight for the scrap game. Okay, that's very important to know. Now, once I got out of the scrap game, I was still very interested in the strength game and many different aspects of it. Eventually, I just came to a point where my analyzation of the food system in the United States of America became such as total disgust, and now I am totally aware of the full cycle that is the financial bankers, the industrial food system, and the pharmaceutical industry. It's like all the same people. It's like very disgusting. And for a long time, I supported that just by buying those products and living that lifestyle. So I know this is kind of drawn out here, but this is like the best video response I can give, without working with you individually and basically itemizing every single thing that you have to eat, when, and all that jazz, because truthfully, I don't feel it's necessary. I think you just have to disconnect from the industrial food system altogether, analyze the nutrition that you actually think is nutrition, and then replace it with plant nutrition. Fruits, vegetables, herbs, roots, and plants. Spices. You gotta go to those things. You gotta learn about those things. You gotta learn about essential oils. You gotta learn how to use them. You gotta learn about meditation and different forms of. You gotta learn how to basically massage yourself. You gotta learn about liniments. You gotta learn about the properties of liniments. You got to learn about the properties of your skin. You got to learn about the chemicals that are in soaps, the chemicals that are in shampoos, the chemicals that are in everything. Not only do you have to become mindful of all the things you eat, you now have to become mindful of all the things you're putting on your skin. Because what goes on your skin goes in your skin. And obviously when it goes in, it performs a job, and then it has a function where it has to get released. So there's two very difficult jobs if you have chemicals in your skin. That's just one thing. Anyway, going back to the topic about weight, it's plant nutrition and only. So there's no processed foods, there's no genetically modified foods, there's no dairy. Many of the things that we've grown to love are the things that we will need to get rid of, I'll be honest. The first addiction, the hardest addiction that I kicked was sugar. It was so hard. And every single day I have this consistent battle with sugar. Like right now I kicked it, but like 3 minutes from now I might have that craving again, and then there we go again. Coping mechanism, right? So it's sugar number one, processed food number two, because there's a lot of chemicals in processed foods. There's also a lot of chemicals in processed meats. If you think what I am saying is a bunch of jibber jabber, check me. Stop eating dairy today. Stop eating processed foods today. Tell me what happens. Stop eating processed meats today. Tell me what happens. If you can do it for one day, sweet, man. Do it for another day. You know what's going to happen after that? The withdrawal symptoms are going to come out. Guys, I went to school for counseling before I became a teacher. I worked a lot with people struggling with addictions. It's a lifetime thing. And once you realize that you're actually addicted to this food that's being put out by a system that's also being supported and propped up by a pharmaceutical and a banking system, you're going to be totally disgusted, and you're going to realize what I already know and what millions of people also around the world do know. You can alter your existence right now as long as you know what you're doing and who you are and what you are, right? You're this physiology. How do you take care of the physiology? Plant nutrition. We are nature. Therefore, we need to consume nature in order to nurture our nature. That's the bottom line. If anybody's trying to sell you on a supplement that is outside of nature, it's money. That's it. I'm sorry. I cannot be sold on it. You look into the wild, you look at the most magnificent, beautiful animals in the wild. Guys, they're not taking pills. They're not eating GMOs. They're not consuming any of this nonsense. Nothing. They're not doing it. Because why? Because they have what's natural, and that's all they need. So once again, keep it very simple. Your nature, consume nature, and you'll nurture your nature. All right, that's pretty much it. If any of you guys have more specific questions on, how I did it, what I ate, things like that, just get in touch. Give me a call. We talk about it. Skype maybe a little bit. Set something up. Anyway, we'll get it done. I help a lot of people. I do it out of the goodness of my heart. I also run a business, so there's that too. But what we're dealing with here is there's a blanket over people's heads, and they think that a mainstream society, or even worse, a Western medicinal perspective is best. Completely ridiculous. I've never been more disgusted in my life than when I've absolutely evaluated this system, soup to nuts, and to be honest, there's not a whole lot you can find because it's all based on a standard of care. What is the standard of care? Aha. That one, my friends, I don't even have enough time to get into it, but I can just tell you that the Rockefeller and the Carnegie families, in my estimation, do not have any power over my health, nor should their structure be anything that I'm interested in sustaining my fitness and wellness. You know who gets the final say in that? Me. You know who feeds me? Earth. So it's kind of real simple. It's like Mother Earth does her thing, and I'm here just to kind of appreciate the fact that she's doing her thing, and I'm just going to try to coexist. I'm not trying to put any of this silly nonsense on anybody else. You are here on Earth. Eat what is from Earth, not what is made by man and said to be comparative with that of Earth.